Hi guys, this is Siva. Welcome to the tutorial on ESLint. In this session, we are going to understand ESLint configurations. So in the previous example, I explained about the important commands from the CLI perspective, and also we set up the environment. So if you see my local machine, I already installed my ESLint. So you will get all these options are available. But let us look at the root folder of the ESLint. Whenever you configure or install the ESLint, you will have package.json. So the package.json basically contains the information about the project name and version description and main file and the scripts, and also we will see the dev dependencies. So this is the like a parent package should be available whenever we are using the ESLint or any plugin whenever you are using with the Node.js. After that, the specific related to the ESLint we have is the .eslint rc.json file. So this is the configuration file which actually gives you the complete information about the ESLint configuration, which is going to used for the linting the JavaScript code. Now if you see here environment, we say environment is browser. For example, if you want a multiple, then you can add. If you want to use like a node, then you can specify here node as a true. And similarly, if you want to use for jQuery, then you can say jQuery and environment you can set as a true. So this is the configuration file which is going to be used. And similarly, what are the extents ESLint recommended? So these are the rules which is going to use. And parser options, ECMA version 5 is the one which defaultly we are configured while we are setuping the ESLint. And we know that these are the rules which are going to be used while ESLint is analyzing the JavaScript code, and based on that it is going to throw this as a, it is going to identify the errors. Okay, and these are the errors which are available. And one more, if you see here, there is a one more file, that is .lint ignore. So basically this is the file which is going to be used to whenever it is ESLint is going to executed, first it look for the any ESLint ignore files, and if you specify any type of pattern here, then those files will be ignored. If I say src star.js, that means whenever you analyze the ESLint, it will look for these patterns and it will exclude these files from the analysis. So .lint ignore is the which basically use it to ignore your files. And one more file, let me generate it, that is ESLint src. Let me remove this ignore file for now. Src star.js cache. So one more important configuration file is cache. So whenever ESLint is analyzing the code, if you use the cache option, it first checks whether if there is any files are modified after it generated the cache. If it is not generated, then it will go, and what it is going to do is it will go and it is going to create, sorry, environment key, it says wrong. Let me go and remove this node. Let us say it will run or not. jQuery. Let me put this one also. jQuery. Now if you see here, it is analyzed, and then you will see the .eslint.cache. So once the cache file is getting generated, then what it is going to do is next time onwards, whenever if there is any errors are that means first it will look for this particular cache file and look at the whichever the files it is already analyzed. If there is no changes, then it will skip the analysis, so that it will improve the performance of the analysis what we are going to do using the ESLint. So this is the another configuration we are going to use. And let us consider if you want to set up here by default it has the .json file. Now if you want to set up with a different way of configuring file, then what we can do is ESLint dash dash init. Now this is the give you the different options on what basis you want to set up the ESLint as per your requirement. Now first it will ask you for the what you want to basically inspect. So inspect your JavaScript file, and it is src start.js. These are the files I want to analyze. And previously I am using the JSON, so that is the reason it created with the .json file. Now let us see, I am going to choose this option as a AML. And if you see previously the parser information, it is the, if you see in our configuration file, what is the parser we are using is the ECMA version 5. Now if you want to change that parser to something different, you can choose anything here, ES 2015 or ES 2018. I am specifying this one. And are you using ES6 modules? We'll say for now no. And where you code is going to run, whether it is a browser or not. This time I am going to say node, and CommonJS also I'll say yes, JAX yes, JSX. And do you use React? Yes. If you want to reuse the React.js, then it is going to ask you for installing the ESLint plugin for the React. So for now, what we're going to do is we don't say ESLint. We will try one more option. JavaScript file ES5 and say node, CommonJS yes, JAX yes, React say no. I'll say tab as a indentation. And what codes do you use for the strings? I'll say double. And I am using Windows. Do you require semicolon? Yes. And the configuration file I want in the form of AML, it has created. Now if you go and see our configuration file, this time it has created .lint rc.yml file. Now if you go and open this file, now if you see here, it has created with this one, true, 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 and this is the line breakup, and whatever the information it has created, this format. So this is the configuration file now it is going to use. Now like that, you have different ways of configuring your project based on your requirement. But only thing what you need to remember is, if you want to use any external plugins, then first you need to make sure that you need to install that proper plugins, and then you start putting those specific rules will be configured whenever you are creating this configuration file. Now one more option we have is we can even create a .js files as well. Now I'll say this time we'll use a popular style, then answer to your JavaScript file src/start.js, and this time we'll say JavaScript, and ECMA 5 we are going to use, let us say ES5, and say node. We'll say node.js, CommonJS no, JSX no, and is going to create the file. Now this time it is going to create the dot. If I go ahead and refresh it, this is the JavaScript file it has created. And if you see here, the file is browser, we selected it true and extended this one, ECMA version 5, and these are the rules which we are going to be used. And for example, now if you have a requirement where you want to turn off particular rule for the based on certain file pattern, then that is possible using the configuration. So how you need to do that configuration is, now ESLint.json, if you go here and you can specify the option like this. What you need to do is, you can say the override option. In that, tell which are the files basically you want to ignore and which in rules, basically files and also rule. Now what happens is, whenever ESLint is executing the analysis, it will identify this override tag, and it will look for this particular rule, and these rules will not be applied on whatever the files you are going to provide. For example, if you want to specify the entire folder, then you can specify test folder like this, and comma, you can specify multiple folders as well. So src like this you can specify. This is the one way how you can override the rules for the particular file. So this is from the configuration point of view. Now that is the reason whenever you execute the test/test1.js, in the code I have added the no alert code, but still it is not going to give you the error related to this one. Now if you see the test1.js file first, in this test I have test1.js. If I go and open this one, you can see alert message is there. As per the rule, it is the error, but when I run this particular program, what is going to happen is, it will just ignore that particular rule. ESLint test/test1.js. When I run this program, now you can see that console.log it is going to specify as a error, but alert message it will be ignored. 55 problems. ESLint test/test1.js. Now if you see here, what is happening is, still it is going to giving the unexpected alert of the no alert. This is because whenever we have the multiple configuration files, so there is a sequence it is going to follow. So that is the reason you need to specify which configuration file this has the setting. So -c, and here ESLint not JS. This is the JSON file where we have that override rule, and then test/test1.js. Now if you run this program, what happens is, this will ignore that particular rule. If you see here, there is no alert is specified. So whenever you have the multiple configuration files here, you need to specify which one is to be taken as a precedence, so that based on that configuration, basically it will try to analyze your code and also apply the rules as per the what you can say, so as per the your configuration. Now whenever you have the multiple configuration file, the first will given for the preferences to the JavaScript file, and then you will have the YAML, and then JSON, and then package.json. So this is the sequence of the steps it is going to give as a precedence. But if you want to specify this particular configuration file using the -c, you can specify what is the configuration file you are using, and with that it is going to analyze the your source code and give you the alert. This is the one way how you can configure these rules enabling and disabling. Now for example, if you want to provide this configuration at the JavaScript level also, it is possible. Now I'm going to show you how you can implement at the code level itself. Now, for example, if you want to disable the complete code of ignoring this particular analysis of this particular file using the ESLint, then you can say ESLint dash disable. Then it will not at all ignore, not at all it is going to execute any of the rules. So this is the one way. For example, if you want to specify at the particular line level, then or the particular rule, then you can specify ESLint disable no alert comma no console. So these two use cases it will be just ignored. And similarly, when you want to add at the inline comment also it is possible. Then here say in ESLint disable line, then this will be ignored. And if you want to next line needs to be ignored, then ESLint disable dash next dash line. If you specify this way, when analysis is doing, then it will simply ignore these files. Now let us see how this is going to work. Now what we are going to do is dash c and ESLint.json and say src slash test.js. Now if you see here, it does not report any error because we are using this particular option as ESLint dash disable. Now if I remove this particular line, then you can see it has reported this problem, but it didn't reported the problem for the alert test. So now if I want to alert, if I want to give the alert or error message for this one also, then I can just remove these lines. Then you can see that this time ESLint provide the error for alert and console as well. Okay, alert is actually expecting and console is also expecting as a error. So this is how you, if you want to provide a configuration and if you want to enable and disable certain rules at the JavaScript level also, it is possible using these commands. So if you provide the ESLint dash disable at the top of the file, then the complete file will be ignored. If you are specifying anything at the command few lines, then those lines will be ignored. If you want only single line needs to be ignored, then you can specify at the top or the at the end of this particular line, then ESLint will be processed accordingly. Hope you clear with the how the configurations works for ESLint. In the next session, we are going to look at some more configuration related to the rules. Thanks for watching.